Hi Leos, and welcome to your March 2020 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky here to talk to you about your fun and positive looking energy for the month of March. So if you guys have seen any of the other videos about March so far, you've probably seen that it is a super psychic, psychological, and emotional month for us all. We are moving into the double one energy of Aries season as well as Rat year. So we are in 2 ones, huge new beginnings, letting go of old stories, letting go of these old things that have been looming over us for a long time. And as a Leo, I know that you guys are all about that because I know that this year has kind of been grating for you so far because we've got a super huge influx of Capricorn energy, which is not a super harmonious angle toward Leo. So super inharmonious things definitely can come about here, and it all has a reason. It's all for a purpose, most likely dealing with snapping you back onto the path that is most authentic and getting us off of the path that we convinced ourselves was the right one because of like power or ego or anything like that. And though we kind of get pulled away from those things as Leo people during this time, just so that we can focus on what we've promised ourselves before. So here we have the theme of like promises coming up in March for you guys, and that's just a channeled insight that feels really prominent for you. Is there's a promise that you have to follow through on in the month of March. Perhaps it's to yourself, perhaps it deals somewhat with other people, but I feel mostly it is at the self level. You have the Hierophant and 4 of Pentacles, as well as 4 of Wands too. So there's a lot of self energy. You know, the number 4 is a self number. It deals with only the things that we see within and then how that manifests outwards. So promises that you made to yourself before, either we've got to accept that certain things have ended, or we have to start at least working a little bit towards the promises of the past. So trying to not just exist in volatility or purgatory energy, whatever it feels like to you, is important by the time we move into April. So not feeling torn away from things, not feeling like, okay, I'm doing this job, but I so wish I was not doing it, and I so wish I was doing this instead, but I'm not doing that. You know, that type of mentality as a Leo or a Gemini, Leo and Gemini both have that right now, is what makes things tough here during Capricorn year, because Capricorn is cardinal, straight line, linear energy, and it wants us to like be totally invested in what we're putting our efforts into, and it's not so eccentric like the Sagittarius energy was. You know, Jupiter was just in Sag, and we got to do all those eccentric things and be all those places and feel all of that warmth to some degree. But here we have to really see the end goal. So enjoy that, Leos. You can really be one of the most prosperous and successful signs by being married to your project or married toward what you are invested in. Let's get straight into your weekly, week-to-week tarot reading. There will be an extended reading on Patreon with more cards, and I will link that below as well as at the end of the video if you guys want to jump over and support the channel, as well as get the extended reading. So week number 1, Leo, you have the King of Cups rooted down by 3 of Cups reversed. Emotional intelligence, whoa, big time coming in for you in the first week of March. Great aha moments, I feel, coming in like, okay, I see where I was like overstepping there, or I see where I was like infringed upon or encroached upon by someone else. And now I understand how to not get back in those situations. Now I understand what needs to be put together. It's interesting how this Mercury retrograde in Pisces, which we might all kind of associate with a lot of like mental instability, emotional instability, volatility, you know, psychologically demeaning situations. Actually, it has dealt a lot with gaining emotional intelligence and a lot with, you know, really understanding why do I have this fear or this paranoia or this discontent. And for you, that really clicks in the first week. And that is so nice because you move into the second week with the Hierophant rooted down by the moon, where there's emotional power and like, okay, I'm not going to be torn back down. I'm not going to be a victim to all of those old stories or or just, you know, really disrupted by those people of the past. Like, I am over it. There's a sense of being like over it with the second week forward in March, which is so essential for you, Leos. Even if you're in some kind of conflict currently, or if you're in some kind of like, you know, emotional high stakes situation, you've got to be over it to a degree. All right. With the equinox coming in the 3rd week of March and us moving into the double one energy, we have to be over those old stories to as much as we can be, in order to flourish and in order to empty the space so that the universe can come in and fill that space. All right. The void needs to kind of be there at the end of Pisces season so it can be refilled by Aries season. And that can be tough as a Leo because you guys don't really give up easily. You know, very determined, very ambitious energy is Leo. So even the small things that you've wanted forever never really leave until they're accomplished. But you have a challenge in the second week to like spiritually understand how to release and let go of old pain, of current pain, and of like also manipulative or wrongdoing people as well. All right. So people who've done you wrong or people who have tried to drag you through the mud or something, you got to be over it. Okay. Just over it and deal with things as they come. And there's a big spiritual power that you take on through that. All right. Week number 3, you guys have the 4 of Pentacles rooted down by the Wheel of Fortune. So more money, right? You're getting a raise or a bonus or a promotion or finding new profitable ventures. It might not just be money either. This could be luck, new fortune is coming onto your side because 4 of Pentacles is kind of a minor arcana version of the Wheel of Fortune. If you see they are similar, it's like the 4 of Pentacles is holding that sort of pentacle Wheel of Fortune. So you're holding the Wheel of Fortune in your hands, Leo. And I think that it's so imperative that you wrap your mind around this, that you have power over your own fortune. You know, you might come to this reading or click on this video and put some power into me for your fortune and have me tell you your quote unquote fortune. I'm not a fortune teller. I hate that title. I'm not here to predict people's futures for them. Just a disclaimer. I'm just here to sort of talk about the spread. But I don't predict people's futures ever. So the future is in your own hands, Leo. And that might be the most empowering thing to think about. Really affirm to yourself, especially because, you know, Aries time is coming in that 3rd week. You know, I hold my future. I hold my fortune. Nobody else does. You know, none of these YouTube sidekicks or these ex-boyfriends or girlfriends or these, people above me in my career. None of these people hold my future. None of these people have power over me. Only I do. And it's when you sort of maybe think that, okay, all these people have power over me. All these people control my future. That's when a Leo gets really harnessed up and really at the means or the disposal of others, sort of becomes a pawn on the chessboard, you know? So great time to re-empower and reinvigorate your sense of personal power in the 3rd week, Leo, without feeding into those old themes of ego. This isn't about ego, okay? What I'm talking about is not to send you on an ego trip and saying, I'm the most powerful person in the world. That's not what that is for, because Leo is having a tough time and really being dragged through the mud, you know, reputably, if they are there, you know, saying, I deserve the top position. I deserve, you know, to be at the top of the hierarchy just because that's what I like. You know, not because I'm qualified, but because that's who I am. I've seen a few Leos lately who are condemning themselves to a tough time just by saying, you know, I deserve to be the president. I deserve to be the high, lofty position just because I like talking down to the servants. Like, there's a few Leos that have come out like that, and it's not all Leos. It's not all Leos at all. But Leos who are there have to really be aware of that and think, okay, whoa, I got to step back here and qualify myself. Okay, I've got to qualify myself for all of these tough things that I've been going through, because it's those tough things or those like old pains that send us into hierarchy. You know, it's those pains that send us into hierarchy, and we capitalize on old pain and are no longer subject to old pain by being above it and having it bow to us like all of the other servants, quote unquote, you know. So Leo, you have to save yourself from those stories. That is an old story that the archetype of Leo has been involved in for a long time. You know, it is the king or the queen or the director or the ambassador, you know. This is Leo. And sometimes those people are only in those positions because they like to talk down to the servants, and they like to be bowed to, and they like to feel that their pain is now manifested into people beneath them. So this is something that a year like Saturn, Pluto conjunction in Capricorn, Jupiter in Capricorn, it really just flattens that. So small. It can sort of be like the ant trying to take on the elephant, you know, the ant trying to hold up the weight of the elephant's foot. It doesn't work, does it? That Leos can find themselves there. And what is the remedy to that, Leos? Because, you know, all Leos are meant to lead. It is a leadership sign. So it's not saying that it's bad for a Leo to want a leadership position. You guys are some of the best leaders. But you've got to be there for the right reasons. You know, you've got to be really connected to the goal of what you're leading. And it's not about being in leadership. It's about making results happen and working hard. Again, if we are sort of disassociating leadership with hard work, that's a big problem in a Capricorn year. If we're wanting to like relax and lay in bed as the leader, you know, being carried around on the palanquin as the leader, this is a problem in the Capricorn year. The leaders work the hardest in a Capricorn year, and that's where Leo struggles a little bit, because again, this is the sign of royalty. So it's like, okay, I'll sit at the throne and make all the decisions, but I want to be fanned and like fed and served at the same time. And Leo has to get out of that this year. All right. I'm giving you guys a bit of tough love. You guys have to run the distance. You guys have to work the hardest if you want the leadership, okay? This is also a fine year for Leo to kind of step back a little bit. If Leo needs a break, or if Leo needs to fix their emotional health or fix their time, you know, it's not a bad time for like rehab for Leos, for example. It's not a bad time for, you know, a solitary spiritual retreat, okay? It's not a bad time to, you know, spend some savings and go to Hawaii or whatever it is, you know, just so you can get back to the ground and realize your smallness, okay? Capricorn year of the rat, this is a time where our lower profile or our smallness is a blessing, okay? We had 2019, which is a year of the pig, and a very Sagittarian year, and, you know, we went big, you know, we could have gone big during that time, and we could have been the leader on the palanquin or what have you. But what we also saw is that those are the people that get torn down first, okay? Those are the targets. Those are the people that then become a collective vessel for anger or rage. You know, Neptune and Pisces, that's been for many years now, that's been building up. So to have a low profile or to be smaller right now is to really be very effective and to also learn. So what is this all coming back to, Leo, for you? I want you guys to... Because again, here's the thing. There are some Leos that are so appropriate to be in leadership right now, like it's not even funny, like how effective you guys are, especially if you've got some strong like Virgo or Cancer placements. The effectiveness can be so good for those of you who, you know, enjoy hard work, enjoy building up, you know, your subordinates, you know, the people who are beneath you, because we are still operating through hierarchy, and, you know, you want to build them up, you want to see them rise, you want to see them achieve their potential, and it's not just about them like bowing to you or being subordinate, you know. Those Leos are being built up so high, so good. The Leos who are accessing their integrity and understanding that everybody's working hard, everybody's having a tough time, having empathy, not succumbing to narcissism. These Leos are like, wow, like shining so brightly. Like you are offering all of us like this source of heat and this source of benevolence that nobody else really can. I will say it's a small percentage of Leos there. It's a bigger percentage of Leos who are feeling cold. You know, it's winter time still, feeling cold, feeling like vitamin D deprived, and at the same time wanting the like leadership position, okay? It's like the icy leader. The icy leader who just needs like a vacation in the sun, but instead is trying to like lead a company or trying to like, you know, get all this money or trying to like be the figurehead. All right. So this is just a food for thought for you guys. And what I want to encourage you as any Leo right now, regardless of whether you're that incredible leader or whether the ego is really like feeling maligned right now, which is okay. Again, the ego is not always bad. The ego, that's a tough subject for another video. But as a Leo, if you could just give yourself some amount of freedom here and enjoy the process of being one person right? You know, one individual, not necessarily in charge of the masses, not necessarily in charge of the whole family, not necessarily like the holder of all the purse strings, all of that. If you could just be one person, you would just like, it's crazy. It's crazy how much you can learn and really feel better, without any doubt. And to get this back into the guise of the tarot spread, because I went off on a tangent and I wasn't expecting this video to be nearly so long. You know, I'm a Leo rising too, guys. I get it. I get what you're going through. And I'm just trying to speak on it too. With the third week, you've got to realize that fortunate, or those who are fortunate, the idea of being fortunate is not necessarily being in the position of the CEO making millions of dollars and leading a bunch of people. It's not necessarily being the owner, you know, the governor, the president, the prince or princess, you know. It's not, those things are not necessarily fortunate, especially during a time like this. Those are not super fortunate positions to have, you know, and some people can make them that because there's always so much on the line. And your stress response, Leo, I feel needs to not be so over the edge this year, so you don't really maybe benefit from having so much extremely on the line. To get into the fourth week quickly, though, you guys have Four of Wands rooted down by Queen of Wands, so you are, again, that I love the second half of the reading, because equinox time, Aries time, is standing to teach you so much and making you feel so much warmer. Again, maybe you're getting out into the sun. That's a great time to take a weekend getaway or a vacation to like a warm climate and get some more vitamin D. I feel that you're all like missing out on the sun. Again, Leo's ruled by the sun, so you guys need sunlight. Again, to be a Leo person who avoids the sun or, you know, is afraid of the sun, will never really give to you much at all. So try to get some sun during that time, and try to celebrate as well during the fourth week. Access your humor, access your style, your popularity, your, you know, the things that people like about you, your bright, sunny disposition as Queen of Wands, yet with still having that sort of like strength about you, having that strength of Queen of Wands as well. It's like, how can you make this more sunny or more bright or less dictatorial, okay? Not saying that you're a dictator at all, Leos, but I feel like you're a little bit dictatorial over yourself, or you're like really like using some of your strengths or some of your abilities in ways that aren't so respectful to the self. So really sit on that, and how can you make this more respectful to you? How can you be more respectful to yourself and give to yourself what you truly deserve? And then once you've done that, then that leadership position can really come. But it is food for thought that you guys will really do well to just calm down, you know, do a spiritual retreat, go on a vacation, do something that doesn't really have that much on the line if you could, especially in late March and April. It's really nice to start over in some way, move, you know. Gosh, Leos, there's something really like hard done by in your energy, and it's not really represented in the tarot spread so much. This is just something I feel intuitively, and having a knowing of like the strong subtleties of the transits right now and how that would impact a Leo. There's something hard done by, and there's something that has gone on quite too long, and there's something that's like a little bit too vulnerable as well, and it all comes together as this, like, you know, perhaps a desperation for power. So let's watch out for that. All right. I love you guys. You're some of my favorite people. I'm a Leonine person myself, so I don't feel this, and of course when I'm like channeling it, so if I'm doing a reading for like Leo, Scorpio, or Sag, which are like my most prominent placements, it's always not what I expect, because you don't feel it so much personally when you're channeling through it. But I'm wishing you guys a lot of love and luck. You hold your own fortune this month, okay? You are the keeper of your own luck, and you are the forger of your own destiny, Leo. So don't give that away to anybody else, and don't take that from anybody else either. Do not become the forger of the destiny of others, or the forger of, or the creator of the luck of other people, okay? Big karmic consequences for things like that here. Take power over your own destiny, figure that out, then see where that leads you, okay? If you could. You know, if you want, if that sounds right to you. All right, Leos, let's go ahead and jump over to Patreon now for the extended reading. This went so much longer than I expected, just for the initial general reading, but I will have an extended on Patreon. We'll look at the central theme as well as the supporting themes, and we'll get more into this and hopefully find even more positive, uplifting messages over on Patreon, but who knows what we'll get into. So you can click below if you want to jump over to that. It'll be in the description box. And also, it should be linked in the center of the screen now to jump over to Patreon. If you're new, please hit the subscribe button as well as hit the thumbs up button so other Leos can find this video. Your comments and subscribes make my day, and we will be talking soon. Much love, Leos. Good luck. I believe in you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.